KARN News Time 8:13. Joining us on the live line, Congressman Tim Griffin, here to talk to us about cut, cap, and balance. And I know it was passed in the House. The Democrats call it duck, dodge, and dismantle, and that may be what happens to it now. Do you think it can pass the Senate, Congressman?
Well, I think it has a long way to go in the Senate. As you know, in the Senate, you have to get 60 votes, not 50. And so getting anything through the Senate is sort of like sucking syrup through a straw. It's a slow process, but I am confident that we're going to get this taken care of. It won't be to everybody's liking, of course. That's the nature of the way our system's set up. But I'm confident that we're going to get something done that everybody can rally around. I think the issue here is not just, we got to remember, it's not just the debt ceiling, it's the debt. And some of the credit agencies like Moody's have said, hey, we're looking at y'all's credit rating, and we're not just looking at it if you don't raise the debt ceiling. We want whatever you do to raise the debt ceiling to also deal with your spending problem. They have said it in no uncertain terms. So it's got to be something that doesn't kick the can down the road. That's what I'm concerned about. We've tried it every other way, and that's why we're $14 trillion in debt. And so I want to make sure that I'm not part of a group that kicks the can down the road. I think we're out of road. But look, we're not going to default. We are going to something will be done on this deal at the end of the day, and I'm confident of that.
Congressman, the White House has contended that this is going to or could potentially result in elderly not receiving their Social Security or cuts in Medicare and Medicaid. And is that really the case? And why isn't that there isn't some other cut, say in foreign aid, or we don't hear about cuts in these other programs? We only hear about cuts domestically. Why isn't that being discussed?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. The answer to your first question is no. I think that's a bunch of scare tactics. If the president decides, because he will be in charge of, if we, for some reason, did go past the deadline, the president would be in charge of deciding who gets paid first and who doesn't. But that's not going to happen. I guarantee you that is not going to happen. Folks are going to get their Social Security checks, et cetera. In terms of cuts elsewhere, well, if you would have been watching C-SPAN up till about 2 in the morning last night, you would have seen we were in the Foreign Affairs Committee debating exactly what you're talking about, foreign aid. Unfortunately, I hear from a lot of folks that if you just cut foreign aid, waste, fraud, and abuse, and earmarks, you can balance the budget. Well, the problem is foreign aid is less than 2% of the entire budget. Now, we need to look at it. We need to cut it where appropriate. And in fact, I had an amendment last night to do just that, where we were sending a bunch of money to another country so they could give it away. And my amendment actually passed in the Foreign Affairs Committee. So, we're doing that. But if you look at the numbers, what we call autopilot spending, meaning spending that doesn't have to be renewed every year, that spending that's written into law, that's the interest on the debt, that's Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, that's 60% of the entire budget. The rest of the government is the other 40%. We need to cut everywhere in terms of, defense, find inefficiencies, and cut defense, look at all the different agencies. But if we're going to save Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security, the Medicare trustees said we've got to do something in the next decade. If anybody tells you that we can reform and save, deal with our debt, basically, without dealing with the mandatory side of the spending, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, then they're not being honest with you. They are using scare tactics. Now, I can tell you that if we don't address it, they're going to go bankrupt and go away or be cut severely. So we've got to address them. The question is, can we save them? And the answer is yes, we can save them. And, in fact, we've put together a plan where if you're 55 and over, there are no changes to you. They just reform Medicare, for example, for younger folks who aren't on it yet. If anybody tells you we can just do nothing and leave it as it is, then they're not being honest with you. I mean, Joe Lieberman has said it. The president has even said it. The Medicare trustees have said it. So we want to save Medicare, but you have to do something. You can't go on vacation, and I don't mean literally on vacation, but you can't just do nothing and say, well, they're fine as they are, let's look elsewhere. If you do that, you guarantee that they go away. So, there's a lot of scare tactics used in election time. Look, I'm happy to debate substance of plans, but we got to get past a lot of the scare stuff.
All right.
Folks are going to get their checks, and we're going to get a deal done because we have to.
All right, Congressman, we're out of time, but the legislation, the cut, cap, and balance, if enacted, it would require massive changes in government programs, wouldn't it, including cuts in health care spending, Social Security?
It would require adjustments in the spending. Where those adjustments come are not provided in the law because it matches up with our budget that we passed a few months ago. So yeah, you absolutely. There's no way we can keep spending at the level we are.
All right. Well, we're sorry.
Deal with our debt.
I appreciate you very much this morning, and we're sorry we're out of time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.